From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day, this is Dateline Malacañang, and here are the news. The Marcos administration is pushing for the urgent passage of the Unified Package for Livelihoods, Industry, Food, and Transport, or UPLIFT Bill, aimed at enhancing the utilization of public funds and supporting key sectors amid rising global oil prices and geopolitical tensions. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said the proposed measure was discussed when Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. convened the UPLIFT Committee to assess ongoing government interventions to address global oil volatility amid tensions in the Middle East. At the Palace press briefing, Castro said the UPLIFT bill seeks to lift restrictions and optimize government resources for priority programs. Castro noted that the proposed measures would remove the 2-year restriction on the inclusion of certain government savings in the national budget. She said the proposal would also identify programs and projects that may be funded. She added that the UPLIFT bill would allow the use of unreleased appropriations and unobligated allotments from the 2025 General Appropriations Act, or GAA, as well as unreleased funds from the 2026 GAA. Castro said the measure would be prioritized for immediate passage.
Tungkol sa UPLIFT committee meeting, napag-usapan po ang balak na gawing batas. Ipapasa po ang proposal na magkaroon ng UPLIFT bill. Ang layunin po nito, unang-una ay alisin ang 2 taong pagbabawal sa pagsasama sa panukalang budget ng mga item na idineklarang ipon o savings. Pangalawa, para magbigay ng listahan ng mga programs, activities, and projects na maaaring ponduhan mula sa mga nakalaang budget. At pangatlo, layunin din itong bigyan ng kakayahan ang pamahalaan na magamit ang unreleased appropriations at unobligated allotment mula sa fiscal year 2025 GAA at ang unreleased appropriations mula sa fiscal year 2026 GAA.
Castro also reported positive developments in the country's fuel and food supply. She said the country's oil buffer stock has increased to 54 days, while a rollback in diesel prices is expected. She added that there is a sufficient supply of rice, chicken, and pork until year-end.
Good news po dahil sa ngayon ang buffer stock ng supply ng langis ay tumaas mula 52 hanggang 54 days. At napag-usapan din po ang malawakang rollback sa presyo ng diesel. At ayon din po kay Secretary Kiko Chu Laurel Jr., may sapat na supply ng bigas, chicken, pork at yun. Sa Pilipinas na aabot sa katapusan ng taon. So, and by the way, meron po tayong UPLIFT website, www.uplift.dbm.gov.ph, kung saan makikita po natin ang pinakaprograma ng UPLIFT ng ating pamahalaan para mapakita natin ang 5 pillars ng UPLIFT, ang saving lives, ensuring sufficient supply of fuel, assisting sectors in need, keeping food prices within reach, and ensuring supply of electricity.
The UPLIFT Committee, established under Executive Order 110, coordinates government efforts to ensure the uninterrupted flow of fuel and other essential goods, as well as to protect vulnerable sectors from rising costs amid the Middle East crisis.
Dateline Malacañang.
Department of Agriculture or DA Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel Jr. has called for stronger regional collaboration to safeguard food security in the Asia-Pacific region amid the tensions in the Middle East. Chu Laurel made the call during the ministerial segment of the 38th session of the UN Food and Agriculture Organization or FAO Asia-Pacific Regional Conference or APRC 38 in Bandar Seri Begawan, Brunei Darussalam, income from April 23 to 24. The DA chief emphasized how the global energy shock is being translated into increasing pressure in the region's agriculture sector. In the Philippines, the rising prices of fuel and fertilizer are putting pressure on local food production, especially for the upcoming wet planting season. Both are deemed critical in farming and food distribution, making spikes in production and transportation costs translatable to elevated retail prices of agricultural commodities besides the global oil shocks. The DA also warned of other climate risks such as the looming strong El Nino. In a separate speech, Chu Laurel said increasingly unstable weather patterns, climate shocks, and persistent animal diseases have posed a disruption in the production and supply of select agricultural commodities like livestock. He urged international stakeholders to boost coordination, including the World Trade Organization as a critical venue for dialogues amid the increasing global market volatility. For its part, the Philippine government has launched various mitigation measures, including fuel subsidies, presidential assistance for farmers and fishers or PAFF PATH, expanded logistics support through provision of trucks, and the rollout of free toll program for agricultural vehicles in partnership with major toll companies, as well as a target utilization of Quick Response Fund or QRF for the procurement and distribution of free biofertilizers for local farmers. Other long-term support is also advanced, including the investments in expediting of deliveries of cold storage, rice processing system or RPS, and other post-harvest facilities.
Dateline Malacañang.
Former Japanese Prime Minister and now Special Envoy to the Prime Minister Kishida Fumio is set to visit the Philippines to hold discussions with Filipino officials on energy days after Tokyo announced a $10 billion initiative to help Asian countries secure oil. Kishida, who also serves as Supreme Advisor to the Japan-led Parliamentary Association of Asia Zero Emission Community, or ASEG, will visit the Philippines from April 30 to May 2. The Japanese embassy in Manila said Kishida will hold meetings with high-level Filipino officials and exchange views on promoting tangible initiatives under ASEC and strengthening bilateral relations, among others. The visit comes following Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takeichi's announcement of the $10 billion energy cooperation framework, partnership on wide energy and resources resilience or Power Asia, at an online ASEC Plus summit meeting last April 15. Tokyo's initiative aims to help countries and companies respond to global energy disruptions caused by tensions in the Middle East by financing the procurement of crude oil and petroleum products and maintaining supply chains in Asia. Among those present in the online summit were leaders from various Southeast Asian states, including President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, has assured full legal and welfare assistance to the family of Filipino seafarer George Francis Miranda, who was reported missing after the United Arab Emirates or UAE-flagged vessel MV Musafa II was hit by missiles and sank in the Strait of Hormuz on March 6. In a Facebook post, the DMW said Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak personally visited Miranda's family on Sunday to convey the government's concern and to reaffirm continued support while authorities investigate the maritime incident. During the visit, he assured the family that they would receive full legal and welfare support, including coordination with legal counsel, knowledgeable in UAE maritime and labor laws to help protect Miranda's rights and entitlements, as well as those of his beneficiaries. Secretary Kakdak said the DMW is also working closely with the Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, for appropriate representations in line with established diplomatic processes processes with the UAE government and other concerned foreign authorities. He said these efforts aim to clarify the circumstances surrounding the incident and ensure a fair and thorough investigation. Miranda was among the crew members of the tugboat that reportedly went down while responding to assist another distressed vessel in the Strait of Hormuz amid the tension between the United States, Israel, and Iran. Meanwhile, the DMW also assured that it continues to monitor the condition of Filipino seafarers on board vessels in the Persian Gulf and is coordinating with manning agencies to ensure their health, safety, and security amid the ongoing regional conflict in the Middle East.
Dateline Malacañang.
Former legislator Zaldico is now seeking political asylum in France after being released from Czech Republic custody, according to Malacañang. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. voiced disappointment that Co had not been returned to the Philippines. Citing updates from Justice Secretary Frederick Vida and Department of Foreign Affairs DFA Secretary Maria Teresa Lazaro, Castro reported that Co fled the Czech Republic after a prior immigration intervention. She also said that the DFA got highly reliable information that Co had submitted a bid for political asylum in France. The president intends to meet with the Czech and French envoys to discuss developments and potential moves about Co's status, Castro said. Co was previously apprehended at the Czech-German border due to a lack of necessary travel documents and taken into Czech custody. Despite this, Castro reiterated that President Marcos will not meddle with other countries' legal systems. The palace also expressed alarm about what it termed as an increasing trend of fugitives seeking shelter abroad to avoid judicial consequences. Co, who has been linked to anomalous flood control projects and suspected budget insertions, has not been seen in person since leaving the Philippines in July 2025 on a medical visa.
Natanggap na ng Malacañang ang kumpletong ulat mula kay Secretary of Justice Frederick Vida at Foreign Affairs Secretary Teresa Lazaro, kaugnay ng kalagayan ni Zaldico. Batay sa kanilang high-level engagements sa mga opisyal ng Czech Republic at sa mga kinatawan ng European Union, malinaw na ang mga hakbang na ginagawa ay nakaangkla sa paggalang sa umiiral na mga batas ng EU at ng kani-kanilang member states. Ang ganitong mga usapin ay nangangailangan ng masinsinang diplomatikong proseso at koordinasyon sa pinakamataas na antas at ito mismo ang ating ginagawa mula nang matukoy na hawak siya ng Czech authorities kaugnay ng paggamit ng invalid documentation. Sa kasalukuyan, kumpirmadong wala na sa kustodiya ng Czech authorities si Zaldico. Meanwhile, the DFA has received highly reliable information that Zaldico has a pending petition for political asylum in France. He has been requested to be transferred to and is now under the jurisdiction of French authorities. All missions in Europe have been instructed to obtain further official confirmation. Nananatiling matatag ang posisyon ng pamahalaan. We will work with foreign governments through every legal channel available under international laws to bring Zaldico home and face the graft and malversation cases filed against him. Gagawin natin ang lahat ng naaayon sa batas at sa diplomatikong proseso.
Palace Press Officer Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang said it will seek an update from the Department of Public Works and Highways or DPWH on the proposed bridge connecting Aklan to Boracay Island. At a press briefing, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has been informed of the proposal but no approval has been issued so far. Castro said the palace is awaiting further details from the DPWH. The proposed bridge aims to improve connectivity between the mainland province of Aklan and the island resort of Boracay, one of the country's top tourist destinations. When asked if the project has already been approved, Castro said it is too early to say.
Nabalitaan din po ng Pangulo ang nangyayari po dito. At sa ngayon po, pinamamahala muna kay DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon. At kininalaman po ay humingi po tayo ng update patungkol po dito. Pero sa ngayon po ay hindi pa po niya tayo nabigyan ng update. Pero once nabigyan niya po tayo ng update ni Secretary Vince Dizon, ibibigay ko po rin sa iyo, Sam.
Pero approve po ba siya ng Pangulo?
Hindi ko pa masasabi sa ngayon.
Which will be implemented under a build-operate-transfer scheme includes a 2.54-kilometer bridge with access for public transport, pedestrian lanes, bikeways, and utilities. San Miguel Holdings Corporation initiated the Boracay Bridge project by submitting an unsolicited proposal to the DPWH on February 14, 2018. However, the proposed infrastructure development has faced criticism for potential environmental damage and economic impacts, including the displacement of boatmen and port workers. The project's approval and implementation have sparked opposition from stakeholders and the local population.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. instructed government agencies to provide financial and technical support for Filipino innovators, highlighting their importance in driving innovation and national growth. President Marcos made the remark while leading the 2026 National Invention Contest and Exhibits or NICE Awards in Malacañang, which recognizes outstanding indigenous innovations. He said that he has directed the Department of Science and Technology or DOST and other agencies to improve invention support programs. The President emphasized the importance of expanding research and development grants, strengthening intellectual property protection, and promoting the commercialization of inventions.
As President, I do not accept that there should be an uncertain future for our inventors. They have world-changing ideas, and we cannot watch them wither on the vine due to lack of institutional support. And this is why I have given instructions to the Department of Science and Technology and all other relevant government agencies to strengthen financial and technical support for our inventors. Through our various programs, we have been ensuring the availability of research and development grants and protecting the intellectual property rights of our inventors. These should help you transform your innovative ideas into startups and accelerate the adoption and commercialization of those inventions.
NICE Awards are organized by the DOST's Technology Application and Promotion Institute, or DOST-TAPI, and are based on Republic Act RA 7459, also known as the Inventors and Invention Incentives Act, which fosters Filipino invention. This year's competition garnered 764 entries from throughout the country, with 28 finalists picked. President Marcos highlighted numerous successful technologies, including a portable multi-grain seeder with fertilizer applicator designed for small-scale farmers, an on-site African swine disease detection system to protect animals, and an AI-powered chick-counting gadget for poultry management. He said that such technologies address real-world issues in agriculture and food security. Under RA 7459, the government offers incentives, technical assistance, and market connections to Filipino inventors to enable them take their inventions from concept to commercialization. President Marcos promised recipients that government support would continue after recognition.
Already AI, as we all know, has crept into most of the facets of our lives. And to see that even in this application, that AI has its uses. So again, well done. Because these are precisely the kinds of innovations that we seek, ones that offer solutions to real-world challenges and improve the lives of our fellow Filipinos. But beyond the monetary prizes and the accolades that you will receive, you gain greater visibility and opportunities to bring your innovations to the market and to a wide market. And I say that because this is only the beginning.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, in line with the efforts to promote digital financial literacy to poor families, the Philippine Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, joined Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. to distribute mobile phones to Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program, or 4-piece beneficiaries in Pinabacdao, Samar over the weekend. At the ipanalo ang kinabukasan regional rollout activity, over 100 4-piece household beneficiaries received mobile phones donated by DSWD's partner, Globe Telecom. In a statement, DSWD spokesperson Assistant Secretary Irene Dumlao said the department facilitates the inclusion of 4-piece beneficiaries to the country's digital financial system by providing them the option to receive their monthly grants through electronic wallets. It is also in line with the directive of the President for DSWD and other agencies to work together to help the 4-piece beneficiaries achieve self-sufficiency and improved lives. Prior to receiving their mobile phone units, participating 4-piece beneficiaries underwent digital financial literacy sessions to equip them with the knowledge and skills needed to navigate online financial platforms. Among the topics discussed to the beneficiaries were how to identify threats and scams common in digital transactions and ways to invest their savings. The financial literacy sessions were conducted in partnership with the Bank of the Philippine Islands Foundation, Ayala Foundation, G-Exchange Incorporated, and Globe Telecom. Launched in 2008, and institutionalized in 2019 through Republic Act No. 11310, or the 4-Piece Act. The program aims to break the intergenerational cycle of poverty by providing conditional cash grants to more than 4 million poor households, supporting children in finishing elementary and senior high school, as well as giving focus to their health and nutrition. On Sunday, President Marcos and DSWD Secretary Rex Gatchalian led the food redemption activity in Samar under the DSWD's Walang Gutom program, or WGP, a government initiative aimed at addressing involuntary hunger among Filipino families. During the food redemption activity in the municipality of Pinabacdao, Samar, a total of 129 beneficiaries accessed and purchased nutritious and affordable food items using their monthly food credits. Through the WGP, beneficiaries receive 3,000 pesos in monthly food credit on their electronic benefit transfer, or EBT cards, intended to help them augment their household food supply and each daily expenses. The program is designed not only to address immediate food needs but also to support stability by helping them become part of nation building. In addition to food credits, WGP beneficiaries participate in Kalusugan, Kakayahan, at Kabuhayan, or 3K sessions, previously called Nutrition Education Sessions, or NES, and Productivity Enhancement Sessions, or PES. Through the 3K sessions, beneficiaries are empowered to prepare nutritious, delicious, and affordable meals for their families, while also gaining practical skills and access to livelihood opportunities. The DSWD partnered with the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, or TESDA, to offer relevant skills training and short-term courses to WGP beneficiaries, and with the Department of Labor and Employment, or DOLE, which facilitates the participation of household members in job fairs. Currently, there are 600,000 household beneficiaries benefiting from the WGP. The DSW targets to reach a total of 750,000 food-poor households by 2028. The WGP is a flagship anti-hunger initiative of the Marcos administration that targets low-income and food-poor households.
Dateline Malacañang.
Finally, for Dateline Malacañang, the Bureau of Internal Revenue or BIR has ordered the issuance of letters of authority or LOAs to conduct tax audits on Vice President Sara Z. Duterte, her spouse Manasseh Carpio, and 9 business entities linked to the couple. In a statement, the BIR said the firms subject to audit include Carpio lawyers, formerly Carpio and Duterte lawyers, Zelta Maitiem Salon, City Hawking Chow Foods Corporation, Davao Bounty Times Foods Corporation, Madaya Fisheries Incorporated, Davao Emerging Taipans Corporation, Amyanan Shores Incorporated, Kale 8 Foods Corporation, and Geometry Security and Investigation Agency Incorporated. The Bureau said the move follows its determination that probable cause exists to warrant a formal audit investigation. The LOAs authorize designated revenue officers to examine the taxpayers' books of accounts and other financial records. The BIR added that the issuance of LOAs was based on third-party information, including data obtained from publicly available and official sources as allowed under Section 5 of the National Internal Revenue Code or NIRC. It said it also considered testimony from the Office of the Ombudsman regarding Duterte's settlements of assets, liabilities, and net worth or SALNs, as well as reports from the Anti-Money Laundering Council disclosed during impeachment proceedings initiated by the House of Representatives against the Vice President on April 22. BIR Commissioner Charlito Martin Mendoza said a letter of authority is a legal instrument of the BIR to initiate formal tax audits of any taxpayer. It is not a conclusion of liability, but it is a necessary step in determining the correct taxes due. The BIR assured that due process will be observed and the rights of all audited entities will be respected.
Dateline Malacañang.
And that is all for today's Dateline Malacañang for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. This has been Bea Gaza-de Guzman.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila. Dateline Malacañang.